I have seen so many fantastic apps yesterday, so don't expect more apps in this session. So I won't show you apps, but I just want to present some artworks. So I will go to the art history to show some pieces that just opened doors in the way of, in the meaning of material or in the meaning of concepts. So I won't show you things like this. This is done by Jorge Colombo. It's very popular. He used an iPhone app, brushes, for creating the title pages of some New Yorker issues. I won't show you something like this. This is done by David Hockney, very, very popular, was shown in the Tate Britain last year. But again, it's only a tool. So I'm more interested in something that has to do with concepts. So art, for me, is something that can be combined with apps. And apps is also, for me, just a new material for new artists. So I'm going to show some pieces. For instance, this is 500 years old. It's done by Albrecht Dürer in the year 1540. But it includes some of the concepts I want to show. So it was a piece of art that have shown mathematics, that have shown science. So it just included a lot of stuff. For instance, on the top right, there you see this magic square. So it was a kind of revolutionary thing to show something like this in the art world. So magic squares, you all know them. So all the rows, all the columns, all the diagonals are all 34. Yeah? But there is also a kind of Easter egg in this work. So something software developers really love a lot. For instance, the last row, yeah, it's also 34, but it contains the date. So the piece was made 1540. And it also includes the signature, because Albrecht Dürer was the first artist to sign his works. He was the first who created his own publishing company, and he also distributed his works by using bookshops. This was really revolutionary 500 years ago. And the 4 stands for the D of Dürer. It's the 4th letter. And the 1 is the A of his first name. Yeah? So this was something really terrific at that time. So 400 years later, 100 years ago, this was a very important square also, the Black Square of Kazimir Malevich. It also opened doors, yeah, for artists, and it's still quite contemporary. So the art leaves the church, yeah? The art leaves the wall, the art leaves the pedestal, and the art also leaves the white cube. So the next generation of art was Marcel Duchamp. He created this Boîte en valise. It was a kind of portable piece, so it was a kind of luggage piece, and it included his minimal sculptures. So he just made a kind of edition, and you see the major of his pieces as very small ones. For instance, his very popular fountain. Yeah? It is made in 1970, so 100 years ago, and for some years, it was estimated by 500 art experts as the most influential art piece ever made. Yeah? So this was something really new. When art becomes portable, it was a luggage. Yeah? You can just carry it around. So art became accessible. Art became distributable, so this can be bought. Art became collectible. And this was a question some years ago, where do you want to go today? It was a question by Bill Gates, 94. I'm more interested in this question, where do we go from here? It's a question by Marcel Duchamp from the year 1961. It was also used later by Martin Luther King in 76. So where do we go from here was the title of a text Marcel Duchamp has written. And this is really a very interesting text, but I just will quote some words. For instance, he just said, "The phenomenon of light can become the new tool for the new artist. Yeah? So again, this kind of concept like Albrecht Dürer, who also includes science and mathematics in his art. Or the very last sentence, the work of art is now a commonplace product like soap and securities. And I will show you some pieces of the master of soap. So where do we go from here? The master of soap, Andy Warhol, who built his factory, and the factory was a kind of company with totally different aspects of works and of knowledge. So here is his famous silk screen, and of course we all know this kind of can. Yeah? So Marcel Duchamp called it ready-mades, and his question was, how can an artist do things without being art? Yeah? So this was really new at that time, to just use stuff that already exists. So another interesting can was this one by Piero Manzoni, the artist shit. Yeah? So merda d'artista. So I didn't know the result from yesterday, so maybe you have something against an Italian artist, but it was really a milestone in art history because it was a kind of value exchange. So it was, at that time, really something revolutionary and, of course, something totally serious, yeah? Because it was an exchange of 30 grams of this material produced by Manzoni, and it was sold for the price of 30 grams of gold. At that time, it was about $40. Nowadays, it would cost about $400. But this piece, as an art piece, cost about $200,000. And at that time, he made 90 copies, and they all still are living. Yeah? So there's a very precise documentation who owns every single number of the piece. Yeah? So another can is this one, and I'm quite lucky that I own one can of this. I don't own the piece of Manzoni. I would exchange it, so if you want to have it. But this is another piece from the 90s, from Ottmar Hörl, with the title Künstlerpech. It's a little pun that cannot be translated. So Künstlerpech means something like shit happens, but there is the word artist in it. So it's a kind of bad luck. But pech also is a material, not for art, but for streets, for roads. Yeah? So the English word for it is pitch, as I know. So Künstlerpech also includes this kind of pun. Yeah? And Ottmar Hörl is a German artist who made a lot of artworks by different materials. For instance, made of steel, art made of neon. So it's really a new generation coming. Yeah? Art made of light. Yeah? Art made of hardware, which means all that stuff you can buy in a do-it-yourself store, for instance. Yeah? This was accepted as art hardware. Art made of concepts. So this is something I think very interesting for apps. Yeah? That you use apps as a material for your concept of art. And yeah, this old guy, he wasn't an artist, but he created this slogan of think. It's Thomas Watson, so the founder of IBM. And think was really a kind of mantra. And I think thinking is also material for art. So I'm not so interested in painting. Yeah, I don't have much paintings at home, but I like collecting art that has to do with thinking, that has to do with concepts. So if you're Apple addicted, of course, you would prefer this slogan, think different, yeah, by Steve Jobs. And so this is an artwork made by Ottmar Hörl, so the same artist who made this Künstlerpech can. And the title of the piece is Abstract Art, the year 2003. The technique is thinking. And the dimension of the piece, variable. Yeah? So this is something I really love because it just creates something in your head. without showing it. The edition was 10 copies, and the price is even mentioned on the piece. This is another piece by this artist, so it's a telephone card from the 90s. Nowadays, nobody uses telephone cards any longer, but here, normally serious artists shouldn't do telephone cards because it's just a design stuff. But here, the principle, the idea was, what can I do to bring people that they don't throw away the card, that they maybe don't consume the card, because the card was sold, yeah? And of course, it can be a target to not consume the card, to hold it, to give not away this piece. And so he just printed luck on this card. And nobody would ever throw luck away. So those cards also survive, yeah, even after using it. So Unschuld, innocence, is another piece. So I also have a copy here, the number 4. And the edition of this piece was the population of Germany, 82 million copies. Yeah? So be sure you get your copy before they all are sold out. So Tino Segal is another artist who made a lot of conceptual art. So there are never images. The artist just forbid to print any images of pieces. So you can buy, for instance, words, and then all the people who bought words from the text are the only ones who know this text. And on Wednesday, I get the new issue of the Monopole, and they offer an edition of Tino Segal, so this artist who represent Germany on the Venice Pavilion some years ago. So he's really a very important artist. And the idea behind is that only those who buy single words are those who, when they come together, know the whole text. And of course, this is something that can be perfectly done with an app. Yeah? So art made of ideas, not of material. Art made of data. Art made of photography, of course. Art made of moving images. Or art made of new media, as we all know. So Lawrence Weiner was also an artist from the 60s. You see, the 60s was a very important year for that, a really important decade. There was the Declaration of Intent. So he just created 3 rules for the contemporary art, that the artist may construct the piece. The second rule was the piece may be fabricated. And the third one was the piece need not be built. So art becomes virtual. Art becomes conceptual. Art becomes arbitrary. Art becomes artist-defined. So the stuff an artist do becomes automatically art. Art becomes mobile. So this is the next generation of art. And here is an example of Peter Weibel, who is the director of the ZKM, which is the most important museum for new media art in Germany. And he had this dream in the 60s. So it's from 67, where he had this dream of a tool that is of the size as a Remington shaver and combines television and radio stuff and also communication tool, everything in one piece. And this was 67. And as we all know, we all wear this kind of device in our pocket. So nowadays, it becomes true. And as you know, if you buy the right app, and of course there's some apps for that, you can also use the iPhone as a shaver. So the ZKM also presented last year the App Art Award. And I was part of the jury, and I did this application for the festival. So it shows all the stuff artists send in. So you can just check the website, and you will get more information. So mobile art apps is the topic, and local-based services, calendar, these are all the technical stuff that can be incorporated into an app. But what is more important is this one. So the people behind an app. So you can, in a way, build a factory. If you're a sound designer, if you're an artist, if you're a producer, if you're an engineer or a software developer, whatever, you can be part of a team that can create an art app. So if you have a passion for mobile, and I'm pretty sure we all have that, and if you have a passion for art, I also have, I hope some of you share this passion, because I'm a software developer and art collector, so I have both of these worlds. Then maybe you have a passion for apps, then it's time to have a passion for mobile art apps. And you can use your phone as a production tool, and we all know that you can do all the stuff as a photographer. You can make the photo, you can change it, you can edit it, you can distribute it, all within one app. So this can be the future of art. You can use your phone as a distribution tool to spread it around. You can also use your phone as a collector's wall. So I have some of the pieces with me. You can use the cloud as the artist studio. Or you can use the App Store as the gallery. Or you can use the internet as a museum. And of course, you can use your network as a factory. So just go and build these kinds of apps if you're interested in mobile art and apps. And maybe then one day a dream of mine came true, because this is the current state. These are the categories of the App Store. And of course, what I would like to have is this. And who sees the difference? Business. Pardon? A business, yeah. Finance, maybe. No. I just did a little retouchement, so does somebody see the difference? Okay, the art as category. It's really a pity that at the moment there's no category of art. So an artist is forced to put his application into photography or into lifestyle or into business or into education. It would be very, very nice to just have it, a category art. Yeah. So thanks for this for sharing this little tour. And I have one for the road. And this is a piece I really love by Swiss duo Fischli Weiss. David Weiss died 1 month ago. And it's really a pity, he was quite young. But they did in the 90s this wonderful piece, How to Work Better. And these are 10 rules that are really very important for everybody of us, especially the last point, smile. Thanks.